Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world, the world of Wayne. We now have pack 2 of the Agora Models release of build the Mitsubishi A6M Zero Fighter. Now in pack 2 we're going to be doing stages 6 to 15, and what's quite funny is if you look at the introduction in the manual, which are all online so you can download these and work through at your heart's content, it's just build the engine. So for this whole pack we're going to be building the engine. Now if you want to get this for yourself, I'll put the link down here to the Agora Models website and you'll find a plethora of other items on there as well as the Zero Fighter. You've got the Terminator, you've got the Super Snake, you've got the Cobra, you've got the soon to be released Leopard tank. There's loads, so check that out. But today, as I said, we're working on the engine. Let me just quickly show you where we were from pack 1. And as you can see, we started the engine shroud, which is all metal. We worked on the radials around the engine because we're actually doing that this time to start off with, because we did 2 from last time. We have got these items here which we haven't done anything with, which I'm guessing we're going to put together, but this is what scares me. If I just take this radial engine out, check this out. We're going to have to plug all of these cables in today. That's going to be fun. So there are some tiny bits in this pack, which means I am going to be using these glasses. These are available in my Amazon store. In fact, any of the tools that I'm seeing here are normally in my Amazon store. And once again, I'll put a link down the bottom there so you can get those from the Models Builders Emporium. That's what I decided to call it. So without further ado, let's get cracking. So this is everything that we've got in stage 6. We're going to be working on the radials. Now I'm going to put some glue just in one of these little troughs here. The glue that I use is just a CA glue. I get mine from a place called The Range in the UK. It's just a load of sort of like general purpose stores, and I've been using it for ages, but I suppose the nearest equivalent to it is Loctite, because I am aware that there's lots of people who aren't based in the UK who do ask me about where I get this glue from, and it is yeah, The Range. Called Glue It, and it's £1. It's quite cheap. So put some glue in there, and we're actually going to just put these 2 sides together and keep them into place. So here's the first one, just like that, and we'll do the second one. You also see that on all of my builds I really don't go over the top with this glue, mainly on account that if I make mistakes I need to rectify them, so it's easy for me to get the parts about. But I mean, I put enough glue to hold them in, that's for sure. Now these cylinders, if you can see down the bottom, are marked A. That's important because it's going to tell us where they go when we put them on this spindle here. You have got letters here to say where they're actually going to go. Now we've got these little adapters here which we're going to be gluing onto the side of these, what are they, cylinders, radials. And what we want to do is that you see there's a little tab just on the side. They need to be pointing outwards to these here. So if I put the first one on, just into this area, just there, I'll put one on here. And as you can see, that little tab there is pointing outwards. Do the same on the other side. Drop a glue in there. Put the part in. And again, that side now is pointing out that way. We'll do exactly the same on the other one, and when they're done, that's both of those complete. Now that section that I brought over before, we're just going to be putting these in place following what we did in pack 1. Now these are going to go into the slots that say A. Now these have got 2 together just on this side, making sure they all face the same direction. So this one will be going in there like that, and then this one right next to it just like that. That's all there is to do for that part of the engine. We will put that to one side and bring over the first one that we completed that looks just like that, with these brilliant sort of like loops over the top there. Very detailed. And we're going to be gluing these details, which are on sprues here, to the backs of each one of these cylinders, making sure they are the correct way round. So I'll get these off the sprue, and what you'll see is on the end of each cylinder you've got a little hole. So what I'm going to do is put some glue in and show you how one goes in. Then we're going to do the rest of them. So I'll put some glue just in this hole here. And this goes in with the gap part facing upwards towards these hooks. Hoops. I guess that's what they are. So when that's in, that should look just like that. We're going to repeat that through the backs of every single one here. And that's them all in place. I have one spare. So there's only 7 and they give you 8. So that's handy. But with those 2 radials done, that's all there is to do in that stage. Now in stage 7, once again, we're building more radials. And what's more interesting, look, we get our own tweezers in this one. Pretty cool. So just like last time, once again, I'm going to take one of these cylinders here. And again, putting the 2 lugs together, just putting them together. These are labelled B at the bottom there. And the second one, just like that. We should be a whiz at these now. We've created so many of them. And then once again, we're going to put these tiny details on, making sure those tabs face towards the outside again. So, bit of glue just on these parts here. 1 and 2. And put the correct ones in where they go. So this one here will be going in this side. Just like that. And this one on the other side. Just like that. So that's how that looks again. We do the same on the other one. So there we go. They're both in. And because they're labelled B, I'll bring over where we're going to be placing these, and you see we have got little tabs for B there, putting these exactly the same way around as we did before. This one goes in just like that, and we've got another B just at the other side, which means we've got space. Whoops, an A fell off then. We've got space for one more B that's going to go into that area just there. And then we've got the same hook parts that we had on the first engine, but basically we don't do anything with those in that stage because that's the end of the stage. Now this is stage 8. We're going to be continuing doing that engine and putting the last radial in there. And again, we should be able to whiz through it now because it's exactly the same way, putting the 2 parts together. And then we're going to be putting the little detail just on the ends. Just like that. And then there's only 2 details in this pack. So I'm applying the glue, just so you know, of an Archimedes drill with just a normal dressmaker pin stuck in the end. The drills are on my Amazon store, but the pin is for Mrs. Welder Wayne's haberdashery box. And there you go, that's the last radial completed. So it's B. That's just going to go into the last socket we've got just there. Now it wants us to remove all the cylinders from the crankcase here, but keep them in the order that they're going to be going on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like an exploded view of the engine. Just like that. And this is where we're going to start needing our glasses, because we've got these tiny rods to actually put in place now. So I'm going to cut these off with sprue cutters. Okay, the first thing we want to do is we want to take the radial, which is labelled B, this one here, turning it on its side. We want to put some glue just into the side of this silver section here. Just like that. And all we're going to do is drop one of these pipes, I guess, that we've just cut off into there, making sure when we put it in that it is straight like that. Once we've got that on the B one, we can return that back to where it goes on this cylinder here. Similarly, we're going to be taking the next one, which is A, putting some glue in there, putting a pipe into that socket there and making sure that that is completely lined up to where we need it, and then connecting that to the radial that we've just put in next to it. It'd be best to put the pipe in first and then slot the piece in. So that looks just like that. We're going to repeat that all the way around. So I don't know if this is any quicker, but I've connected all the right side ones of these in, so I can just put these all the way in now. I think it's just going to be fun doing the last one there. So let's put these all in, making sure that we match the cylinders up with the letters that we've got here. And there we go. That's all of those in place. That was very fiddly. So I'm just going to gently put that down there. because we're going to put a cover just over this section here. Now this is what the cover looks like. That's just going to match these screw holes here. Just going to put that over the top just like that. It's going to be held in with 2 of the screws that we got here. They don't actually give the screws names, but they're the only ones that come in this. So they are going into metal. So I think I'm going to drop these in a tiny bit of oil and work these completely home. So that's the first one. And here's the second one. We're then going to turn this upside down, so all of these silver parts here, if you see on the close-up camera, are facing upwards, because we're going to start putting these sections in here. So I'm going to get all of these off the sprue, and these are just going to go into the 2 holes that we can see underneath these whole sections here all the way around. So I'll put one in first. 1, 2. This is where that is. Let's try the new tweezers that they gave us here. These are where these come invaluable. These are the ones that actually come in this pack. Just like that. And just place them in. Just like that. And then we're going to do the same for all the rest of them. Now that was a lot of detail gone in there. That took quite an age, that stage, I have to say, but that looks just like that at the moment. We can put this to one side. We're going to be bringing over what we worked on initially here, turn it over, and we're going to actually just take off this section that we put in. This is the one that we worked on in the first pack. So we'll take one side off here and the other side. And then in the exact same way as what we did before, we're going to be putting those rods all around these sections here. Now we should be a dab hand at that. Should be. Famous last words. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start putting them on, and we'll see where it ends up. For some strange reason my brain's decided it wants to do all the left side ones. No idea why that is, but it doesn't really matter. And when that's in, that took forever as well. That should look just like that. All we need to do then is just put the cap back on the top to hold all of these in. Screw this down. But with those 2 together, that's all there is to do in that very long stage. Now this is what stage 9 looks like, and once again we've got these details on the sprue which goes on the sort of like round the edge of those little radial cylinder things. So we're going to put these on the end. So I'll get the sprue cutters and cut these all off. I'm sorry I don't actually know the correct names for some of these things. I'm aware that my brain substitutes words when I don't know what I'm actually saying. So I should really, I'm a bad builder for not knowing what they actually are. All I know is they look very impressive. But at the cost of being very, very detailed. I mean, there's so much detail on this engine, and that, what we just did there, was extremely fiddly. That was part 8. Not so much to do in part 9 though. So just like we did earlier, we're just going to drop some glue into the hole that we've got on the side there. We'll get one of these ends, put the lug in there, which will hold it into place and look like that, and that's what way round that should be facing. So again, we're going to do the same all the way around. You know what, after putting a load of these on already, I just realised there's actually 2 lugs in there, and it's pretty much impossible to put them on the wrong way round because one is thick and the other one's thin. Now we do have 2 other parts in the pack that looks like that, but they're not actually used in this stage, so we can put them to one side. Now this is what stage 10 looks like. Not much to do in stage 10. We're going to take this piece that we had in stage 2, looking just like that, and we're going to be taking this plastic section here and feeding it through the hole that we can see at the top, just like that, so it fits over the lugs that we've got on this side here. So I'm going to push that all the way through, just like that. It fits over the lugs there. So that is just looking like that. It's not going to need glue to put it in, but again, we have got quite a few things left over from the last 2 stages, as you can see here, because that's all there is to do in that stage. Okay, we're going to start stage 11. Now we've got 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We've got 5 stages to go. Now things are going to get really detailed, really intricate. So bear with me, take your time, but the results at the end, oh, they're going to be good. So in stage 11, it looks quite simple on the face of it. It's just a little motor here. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting this motor into the frame pieces that we had from the previous stage. So the motor is just going to go into the end here with the flat sides facing outwards, and then we're going to be sort of like guiding all these leads around the screw holes here, just like this. And then the jack plug at the end is going to fit kind of in this channel, just like that. Now when we've got that into place and we're happy with what we've got, it should fit flush at this end here. There should be no pinched wires. So again, I'm just training them around this cavity section here. Just like that, we can put the top over it now. And when that's in, it should look just like that. It is actually going to be sealed with 2 screws just down the bottom there. And they're the black ones that came in the pack with the mounts. So I'll get them out and we'll put 2 of those screws in now. So there's the first screw. And here's the second. Then holding that this way, we're just going to be inserting the end of this into this detail that again we had in stage 10. So that's just going to go in there like that. We don't glue this into place, that's just held like that. We can put this now to one side. Now we need this part that looks like that from stage 10, from the last stage, and then holding it this way, we need to bring out the part, let's bring these over here, which looks like a spider's web. Now this one came in issue 4, I believe. We're going to be putting this over the top of this section. Now if you have a look here, we've got 3 holes around here. So the way this goes is the hole that is closest to the screw hole at the bottom there is going to have this first lug in place here. Now we are going to glue this on, so I'm going to just drop some more glue into my tray here and then put some glue just around each lug that we've got in here. So that's 1, 2 and 3. Line this up, we'll get this all in. So I'll put this one in first. 1, 2, 3. Push it down and just hold that into place for a second, and that's in just looking like that. We're then going to take the motor that we worked through, and that's actually going to go just through the top here. This can only go in one way because you've got this little notch section here, which is going to go into the section just there. So put this in. It is going to be a bit of a snug fit, but it will fit in there. And then push that all the way down. Now we're going to be holding that with 2 screws, and again they're the black screws that came in stage 10. So 1 in here, nice and tight, and just 1 in the other side there. And when that's on, it should look like that. It should be completely flush all the way around like that. Now you want to take the radial, which is stage 9. If you're confused about which one's stage 9, because they look identical, stage 9 does have that little hole at the bottom. Stage 8, as you can see here, doesn't have that. So this is going to go over the top of what we've just created, and the lug that we've got there is going to go into that hole that I just mentioned. So I'll put this in, and it should fit perfectly flush into there. So push that all the way down, and it should lock into place onto that section there. Just like that. Once we've done that, we're going to be taking the next cylinder that we created, and that's going to go over the top again, and it's going to go on this way. So I'm just going to line that up and push that down just like that. So now we've got 2 cylinders together there, and if I show you what they look like on the side, they are staggered, you see. And then we're going to start putting these wires in. So I'm going to use glue for this, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to do all the short ones first. So the short ones are going to go into the tops of each cylinder here. So dab some glue in there. I'll get my glasses on and my tweezers, and we'll get all of these short ones into place. So that's one. I'll do a couple, give you an idea what I'm doing. The second one is lower down. And that is all the short ones in place around the radial there. Now we're going to turn it upside down, and all the long ones are going to go in exactly the same place, exactly the same way, but we're going to be putting the long ones in. So again, I'll show you a couple just to start off with. Do this one here. I'm hoping these ones will be easier. Now when we put these ones in, they want them to go through the little holes that we had down the bottom like that. I suppose that keeps it a little bit tidier, doesn't it? So then we'll put this one in. So that looks just like that. We're going to repeat that all the way around. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, that took well over an hour. I couldn't even speed it up because it took so long, but the payoff is amazing. Let me show you that on the side there. So this is what that looks like there. That's the top and the bottom. Impressive, huh? The next thing to do is we want to take this section that I think we got in issue 3. And this way up that I've got it is just going to go over the top here. So this is going to fit over the top just like that. We want to line it up with the motor. And when this is on, you should be able to still see the 2 holes that are going through there like that. We're going to turn this upside down then, and we're going to put this metal frame over the top. Now when we do that, it's going to fit on the lugs that we've got here, 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 and here. So I'm going to drop some glue onto those. Just drop this over the top. Making sure they've all been placed and those lugs are securely in. So that looks like that, and that is all there is to do in that stage. What a stage that was. So in stage 12, as you can see, we've got the battery box here, but we don't actually use that in this one. We do have a couple of bits for the engine. In fact, the only part we are going to need is this one here. Now this is going to be going over the top of this section we had here, and as you can see, we've got some little micro holes in here, which we're going to line up with the holes on the bottom of this unit here. Now it is directional, so you need to follow the picture of which way round it goes, but the tabs, where there's no tabs here, is going to go behind this tab that we put in first of all. So when I line this up, it's going to go in kind of like that. But this needs to be glued in. So in fact, having to think about it, it's probably going to be easier just to put it on all of the lugs around the side here. That way I know that it's going to be completely coated with glue. Making sure they're all lined up and straight, which they are. When that's in, that should look like that, and that's all there is to do in that stage. Now in stage 13 we've got lots of pipe work, but we are going to need this metal section because we're going to start putting the vents around the outside. And I'm calling them vents, I don't know what they're actually called, but they have got letters on the back of them, and it does help in the instructions telling you exactly what letters go where. So holding this way round with these tabs pointing down, we're going to balance these on the side. Now the way they go is the one that's labelled E is going to go into this section just on the end here, and there's a little hinge bracket for it to sit into, and it's just going to hang there. We don't want to glue this because we want this to be able to move. The next one along is going to be D, which I've got here, and again exactly the same way, just let it balance and sit in there. The next one along is going to be C, just like that, and then you've guessed it, the next one along is going to be B, which does leave A. We don't do anything with that because we're going to seal this section off. So to do that, we've got this brace here, that's going to be this way round, so the ridges here are going to be facing down. I'm going to put that over the top of this section, and that's going to hold everything in, and then I'm going to screw that down with 3 screws. Now the screws here are very tiny, so I'm going to get these out of here. And once you've held one screw in, that should keep them all in place, so you can get the other 2 in. It's 3 screws altogether that's going to hold that in place. So one at this end here, nice and tight, and then just one at the other side here. And that is perfect. And as you can see, they are all available to still going up and down. Now if I turn it over, A has got a little tiny lug at the bottom. That's just going to go into that hole that we can see there. And that's going to be glued into place there. So I'll get some glue just into that hole. And I'll put this into place, making sure that it is following the circle of the others. Just like that. And that is all there is to do in that stage. Now in stage 14 is very similar. We don't use these pipe works in this stage, but we are going to be putting more of these vents in. And then we're going to be starting round the other side here. So we're going to start with number 1. That's going in there. Then number 2, which is this one here. Then number 3. Which goes in there. That one's just fallen out. Get back in there. Lovely. And then finally number 4. That's the order that these ones go in. And once again we're going to be putting the brace over the top. So that's in there. And then once again held in with some of the little tiny screws here. So I'll get the middle one in first. That will just hold everything into place there. Then I'm safe to put these other 2 in. So one there. And one just on this side here. So they're not coming out. Just tighten that middle one again. And again, these are able to open and close. So all of these are able to open and close except the ones on the end here. Now you will notice we've got space for another one here. That's number 5. And just like we did last time, we're going to put the tiny lug in here, glued into space there. So I'll put some glue in here. Just like that. Close these back up so I can see what they look like. Because I want to match this exactly like the other ones there. Hold that into place for a second. And then we're going to bring the engine over here because this is going to go on top of the engine. Now you will notice some of these silver bits have got little tiny extenders on them. That is what's going to go into these holes that we can see on here. So what we want to do is line this up. Now if that's where the screw hole is, the way they've got it in the picture is that the flat edge of this is pointing away that. So that'll give you an idea roughly where it's going. But I'm just going to just check this now with the holes that I've got in the unit here to keep this into place. Now there is actually 3 holes that this is going to align with, so I'm just matching them up now. So I've got 1, 2, and the third one's over that side there, 3. So that's exactly how it's going to fit into place. So now I've done a test fit, I'm going to glue this down. Now the 3 pegs it wants it assembled by are this one here, 1, and then you've got 2 down the bottom here, 1 that side and 1 this side over here. So these are the ones that we're going to want to line up. Which means the last thing we've got to do is we've got to take this section here, and with this tab here pointed towards the open area and lining up the screw holes we've got inside there, the 2, with the 2 holes we've got in here, we're going to be pushing this into place. Now there is holes in the cylinder for this to fit into. I don't know if you can see them. It's black on black, but there's holes just around the inside of the cylinder. Look on the edges and you'll see them. But that's going to fit in just like that. Then this is going to be held in with some screws, and these are the larger ones that we had in stage 10 that look just like that. So I'll get this lined up and put this in. Now we've got some pipe work to put in now, and this is all the pipes that we had in stage 13, and they're going to attach to these pegs that we can see around the outside of that silver piece we put in, just like that. Now we don't glue these into place, so the number 4 pipe will be going 1, 2, 3, 4 in front of this plate just there, if you count along this way here. So I'll get this in. Now putting the exhaust in is an absolute nightmare, and no matter what I had, I just could not do it. And I'm telling you, this has been about 2 hours, and I figured out an easier way. So I don't know if this is going to help, but let me just show you what the completed thing looks like. Just like that. How impressive does this look? Absolutely amazing. But what I did, because I just couldn't get these to line up with the holes underneath, so what I did was I took it all apart, and I actually put the exhaust directly on this silver section here. Then I put this black ring section onto the spindles it's meant to be in, and then it was easier to line it all up inside to make sure that goes exactly where it needs to. But as you can see, that is now all in place, and I believe that's pretty much that part of the engine completed. We haven't got to touch that. Very detailed, but boy, that is hard. And this probably, yeah, I'm gonna give it the the recognition it deserves. That's probably the hardest thing I've had to do on any model. That was hard. But now that's complete, all we've got to do is just put the engine surrounds to each side of this. Put the top on as well to bite these together. That's what that's looking like. That's what it looks like from the back. And then we're just going to put the propeller looking like this. We're going to push that onto the pin at the front. And there we go. That's the propeller on. And that is pretty much the front of the plane done. Oh my God. That was absolutely crazy, but I'm sure you'll agree. It's looking really good. There you go. Which means we've got one more stage to do, which is stage 15. So I've got the parts here, and the first thing we're going to do is take this section looking just like that, and that's going to go underneath this section here. It is going to be put in with just a touch of glue. So I've got that here, put some glue just into the lugs there, and then put these two together. Now the 2 lugs that we got there are just going to go into this section that's silver here. That's just going to go in like this. Now once again, that needs to be glued into place. Some glue around these lugs, and I'll plug that in. There you go. Then this whole section that we've made is going to go onto the front of this section here, just into these 2 holes that we can see just there. So once again, a little bit of glue just inside those, and we can put these together like that. Then we've got this tiny silver detail, just going to go into the square that we can see at the front. So another little bit of glue there, and it goes with the shorter end towards the right. So I'll put this in and I'll show you what this looks like that. Then we're going to take this circuit board with the little power thing here. I think this is what's actually going to control the propeller, so I might be able to test it. And that's just going to go into here, so we can obviously see the other side from there. We're going to trace this wire just out the back of that. We could put that to one side, because we're just going to work on the top section just here. We've got another small detail to put into this hole here. We're then going to put this top over the top of this like this, making sure the wire comes out from the bottom there, which it does. And we're going to hold that in with these black screws that come with this stage. That's one. And finally just one on the other side. That's two. We've got two more little details to put into these sections just here. These are going to mirror the shape of the backs of them, so it's not too hard to see how they're going to go. I'll put one in, show you what that looks like. As you can see, that goes in just like that. Do the same on the other one. And then these are going to go either side of this top section that we just put in. I'll do a dry fit. And the other side. So that is the completed section. And that is also all there is to do in this pack. Now I think it would be rude to not have a quick go and see if I can get this propeller working. So let's try that now. And there you go. That's the propeller all powered up and doing what it does. Thank God for that. That was a very hard build, but that is all there is to do in that pack. That's taken absolutely all day, but I'm sure you'll agree the results are something else. So if you want to get the hold of this and you're up for the challenge, put the link down here for the Agora Models website. You'll be able to order that all the way from pack one. But I really do hope you like that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.